Good evening, Drew.
I have the best update. I
Oh,
have
okay.
the best update. Something that makes me so happy,
I
and you're
I
you're never gonna guess what it is. So I'm
I
just gonna
I,
tell you.
I just can't just tell me. Just tell me.
Okay. So, friend of the show, Jon Kruger, texted me,
Hmm.
but that's not why I'm happy.
Okay. I mean, that's reason enough for me.
I mean, yes, I am happy about that. Let me be abundantly clear. So he texted me because we try to get together to have breakfast. I think we're like averaging once a year right now, but listen, we have extolled the virtues of the Jon Kruger on this podcast,
Yeah.
and just fantastic human all around. So he texted me for setting up a breakfast date,
Hmm.
and I replied back to him. And every other time I've replied back to Jon Kruger, I've gotten green bubbles.
Is he a blue bubble friend now?
He's a blue bubble friend now.
Oh shit.
So yeah, he was the ultimate Apple holdout, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was. I don't know. I don't know if he was more pro Android or anti Apple. I can't remember the exact thing, but I always know he always used to. You know how he does. He
Yeah.
would deign to us Apple users.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when I see him next week, I'm going to ask him why he is now an Apple boy.
I can't wait to hear that.
So I thought if anybody was going to appreciate that update, it was going to be you.
I do appreciate that. The more blue bubble friends out there, the better.
I've got one holdout.
Yeah.
I have one major holdout in my life that's a green bubble. And for a long time I had many green bubble friends, but now I have one more blue bubble friend, and it's extra sweet that it's Jon Kruger. Okay. Boy. This next update is there's a plot twist.
Oh, what's up with
I
your
have to add
furnace?
the Jon Kruger update to the doc. Okay. So several episodes ago, we were talking about how cold it's been.
Mm-hmm.
And my particular superpower / mental illness is that with my particular brand of ADHD, I was noticing that my furnace was running a lot. And I had convinced myself that something was wrong, either with my furnace or with my insulation or whatever. And my sweet pure wife was just telling me that no, it's just cold. This is what furnaces do. And
They run. Furnaces run.
they run a lot, and it was running a lot. Like when it was like bitterly cold out, I was averaging 11 or 12 hours a day of usage, which is a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, what are you gonna do?
I mean, what are you going to do? Well,
Well,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I
Okay.
can do.
okay.
I could be clever. So, I am in the Nest ecosystem. And if there's two things I know about the Nest ecosystem, is number one, it's impossible to get your data.
Yes, we've learned that. Mm-hmm.
We've learned that. And sidebar on that. I had a brainwave where I was like, wait a minute. Nest is now part of Google Home. So maybe my data's in Google Home and not in Nest.
Oh,
So I requested the Google Home data, which is significantly larger,
okay.
but does not appear to contain thermostat events. At least
Okay,
for my initial
okay.
data exploration.
Okay.
So no. So that's the first thing we know about Nest, is that data goes into a black hole and you can never get it. The second thing is you can buy remote sensors.
Yes, you can. I have a few in my house. Yeah.
Yep. Now, why do you have them, Paul?
So in my previous house, we had issues where like the upstairs wasn't getting as warm as we would like, or cool. I can't remember which way it was. So I put thermostats in there to help it like detect when those rooms were a little bit off and just turn on. So that's why I had them, and I just brought them to the new house. But the new house does not really have that problem, which is nice.
Hmm.
But I guess it's not really a new house anymore. It's just the house I live in. Uh,
It's a new house to you.
yeah. It's my current house.
It's your current home.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't have that problem, but I just have it in there mostly to have data so I can look to see how temperature, do the dad thing of like, what are the temperatures in my house? And I can go and look and see like all of my like 3 different sensors. So yeah. Now, what are you doing with your sensors, Drew?
So with the Nest sensors, what this lets you do is similar to what you just described, is that, different parts of your house heat and cool differently. So, like, for example, our bedroom is above a crawl space. 3 of the 4 walls are exposed walls. So it's a little on the chilly side in there. So if I wanted to warm up the bedroom to 68 degrees, I could take the sensor, I could put it in the bedroom, and then that would become the primary sensor used by my thermostat system to basically tell it when to stop running. So, my working theory here was, hey, it's kind of drafty and cold where my thermostat is. What if I buy one of these Nest sensors and I put it in my living room, which is, not in the hallway where the door is. It's kind of around the corner from my thermostat. So it's generally warmer in that room. It's warmer, and, you've seen my house. It's kind of open from kitchen to living room. And it's generally warmer on that side of the house. So that's what I did. I bought a sensor and I put it by my couch. And the day after I did that, even though it was still kind of cold outside, my usage went from like 11 hours to 4 hours.
Wow.
Okay. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Then my usage went to 0
Uh-oh.
because my furnace broke.
Oh,
And
no.
I'll tell you that's the ultimate hack for not having a gas bill is to just have not a furnace that works.
Oh shit.
Okay.
What
So
happened,
here's what happened.
Drew?
Yeah, so about 3 or 4 days after that, I came upstairs to get a drink during my workday. And I had been noticing that what my furnace was doing is it was running, and then, like, with the way my furnace works, and I don't know if your furnace is like this, it's one of the high efficiency furnaces, which means it has multiple stages. So it has like stage 1 where the burner ignites and it sort of just consumes natural gas and blows out warm air. But if it runs for longer than 15 minutes, the logic board is reading the thermostat sensor, which is telling it, what the temperature and the humidity in the home is. And it's like, hey, it ain't working, boss. So then it kicks to second stage where the gas consumption goes up and heat output similarly increases, and that usually puts out more hot air. The blower also runs higher, and that pushes out more hot air into your home. And I can tell when it clicks on. So like if I'm in my office, I can hear the furnace kick on, I can hear the blower run, and then I can hear it go up in pitch when it goes to that second stage.
Now, quick question. Does your furnace
Mhm.
have the correct number of dead birds in it?
No, my furnace has no dead birds that I
that
am
is
aware
that
of.
is the correct number. Yes.
Yeah. I remember that. That happened to you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's very
Okay.
important to have the correct number of dead birds in your furnace. Very
Right,
important.
because
Yeah.
because you're you need to have a way for like
Yeah.
the bad gases to get out.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, I remember that.
Oh.
That's a funny story. So, okay. So what I was noticing, and again, this is because of my crazy ADHD, is what I was noticing was like I would be laying in bed in the morning, and again, our thermostat dials down to 65 overnight, goes back up to 68 in the morning when my wife gets up. So what I was noticing is I would be laying in bed and I would hear the furnace running. I would hear it go to second stage, and then I would hear it dial back like it was going to shut off. But then very soon after that, I would hear it click back on. it would run, it would go to second stage, then it would go back, and it was kind of doing this over and over. And I'm like, that can't be right. Well, it's not. So later that day, like I said, I went upstairs to get a drink. And as I do, because I can't help myself, and plus it's right there at the top of my basement steps, I glance at the thermostat and it says heating. And it says, heating to 68, but the temperature in the home was 62.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, my furnace isn't running. The Nest thermostat thinks that it's running. It's not. And there were no error codes on the thermostat or anything. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So I go downstairs, and my father-in-law had taught me a little bit about basic sort of furnace maintenance and function, because that's what he did. He was HVAC for residential and commercial. And there's a little light on your furnace. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but that's like a little status LED.
Like blinks a code.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's literally Morse code, where if there's a problem, if it's fine, it's solid. And if there's a problem, it'll flash fast blinks and then slow blinks. So like the fast blinks is the first number of the code, and the slow blinks is like the second number of the code. And some furnaces retain codes. So like if you have a technician come out, say, they could plug in a diagnostic tool similar to like what they do for your car when you take it in for service, and they can pull the codes off the furnace to know, like, I threw this code at such and such a date of time. Well, my furnace doesn't have code retention, but I saw that it was flashing a code, and the little paper that tells you what the codes mean is inside the furnace.
Yeah.
So I took the panel off, and I'm looking at the codes, and I'm like, shit, I didn't make a video of the flashes, so I'm pretty sure it was this code, but I don't know exactly. Well, I put everything back together to see if I could get it to show the code, but the fact that I took the panel off, there's like a lockout switch that it's pressure sensitive, and it trips, which basically prevents the furnace from running when the panel's off.
Mm-hmm.
Safety,
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with like heat safety. It's more about electric safety. So I put everything back on, and then the blower started up, and it basically, it's like hard rebooting your computer, right? Because I turned off power to the system board and the logic controller of the furnace, and it all went back together, and it spun back up, and it started heating my home. And I was like, okay, cool.
Fixed it.
Yeah, I did it. Hooray. So, just needed a little swift kick in the ass, as we all do.
Yeah, as we all do. Yeah.
So, little while later, I went upstairs for a little snack, and I walked past my thermostat, and this time it's got the little like attention icon on it.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, uh-oh. And it's like no power to your thermostat, which was baffling because the thermostat was on.
Right.
So it must have some kind of like battery backup or something in it. I don't know. So I go downstairs, and the furnace is it's a blinking again. But it's blinking while it's running.
Huh. Okay.
So I was like, all right, I have to call somebody. So I called a professional, and this really nice young man came out that very evening, I should add, for very reasonable rates. He came out that evening. He and of course, by that point, it wasn't flashing codes anymore, and it was running perfectly fine. So he took it apart, looked at it, and said, huh, I don't know. So, because my furnace doesn't have the thing that retains codes.
Okay, yeah.
So there was no way for him to know. And I didn't make a video of the flashing. So it was like, what are you going to do? Right. And it's like, listen, how many times have we been called into a situation in IT where it's like, works on my machine. It's not doing it now. So I have sympathy for this. So I was like, is there anything you can like look at or just tell me if you see anything wrong? And he's like, sure. So he basically did what they call their equivalent of a tune up, which was, checking the gas pressure and, cleaning the inside of it out, checking like the traps and checking the vents and the dampers and all this other stuff. And he was here for 2.5 hours, dicking around. And he's like, I didn't really see anything, but, I did some preventative maintenance. He's like, when's the last time you had that done? And I said, never. And he's like, okay, well, hey, this definitely didn't hurt. So let's see what happens. So a day goes by, everything's fine. And then yesterday, my wife wakes up and she's like, hey, the furnace says it's running, but it's not running. And it's like 60 degrees in the house. And I'm like, fuck. So I get out of bed and I go downstairs. And sure enough, it's flashing codes. This time I made a video of it like a good boy.
Yeah.
And I looked at the code. And it was basically like a safety lockout thing. So what was happening was the furnace was running and it was going to second stage. And it was in second stage long enough that it's like basically tripping a heat sensor saying, I'm overheating. Which is funny because, like, furnaces are supposed to get hot.
Yeah, right.
So I'm struggling a little bit with that. So furnaces are supposed to get hot. And it was like overheating. And the way that a lot of these modern furnaces are designed is that an overheat event or excursion by itself is not necessarily enough to cause a problem. The problem is that if it continues to trip that alert,
okay,
at which point it will lock itself out for 3 hours. So bereft of nothing, like if it had happened overnight or when we were away from home, the furnace would have basically shut itself off and saying, okay, I'm way too hot. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back in 3 hours. And it would basically reset itself, similar to how, I took off the panel and forced a hard reboot. It would have like soft rebooted itself. And then the blower would have come on to make sure that it could still move cold air across the sensors. And then it would have gone back to normal operation. So it's protecting itself. It's protecting my home, which is what it's supposed to do. But it begs the question, why is it constantly overheating? So I called the same company. They sent somebody out the same day again. And they didn't charge me for the call because they were literally just here. And they came out and they made a few other adjustments to it. And they said, keep an eye on it. And of course, now it's not running as much because it's a particularly balmy January at this point here. I think it got up to like 50 degrees or something the other day.
Yeah.
After being super cold. But yeah, so perfect timing. Just, great. Just really, really great to have a furnace that's freaking out because, that's what I love. I love when things like that happen. And yeah, so that's the ultimate hack for reducing your natural gas usage is just break your furnace. Or buy a sensor and try to use that.
Yeah.
And actually the sensor, so here's the little twist to the story. So the sensor actually had the opposite effect. So because it got cooler in my house, the area near my thermostat is more open and there's more vents near it. So it heats up faster but loses heat faster as well. So because I had it reading from the sensor, it was actually running more to try to heat that area of the house where there's less vents because it had cooled off significantly. So like basically I played myself, right? So the moral here is don't try to be clever. Just leave it to professionals and have that happen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then I found $5.
Great story.
All right, tell me what you're doing here.
Okay, so this starts with me trying not to spend money. Okay.
Oh, well, that's one. I love that about you.
Okay.
You never like spending money.
Okay, so have you heard of the Ein Odin portal? Odin 2 portal.
You have talked to me about it.
Okay,
when we did our recommendations for a friend of the show, Andrew.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put a link in there. Okay, so it's out now. Or it's coming out. You can still like order it and whatever. But apparently, the Ein Odin Portal 2 is a handheld Android.
Odin 2 Portal? Is that what it's called?
Yes, Odin 2 Portal.
All right.
It is a Android-based gaming handheld. And apparently, it's fucking awesome.
It's got 800 nits.
Yeah, it's got a lot. It's got all the nits. It's got like a 2nd generation Snapdragon. Apparently, you can emulate like everything. The screen looks nice. The buttons are good. They're maybe a little loud, but the buttons are nice. It looks good. You can get it like in that GameCube kind of blue purple color.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, but
what's the difference between the base, the Pro, and the Max?
The amount of RAM and storage it has. If you're gonna buy one, I recommend at least the Pro. Everyone seems to agree the Pro is like the sweet spot for this device because you really
I
don't
see. I
need
see it there.
the extra. You don't really need the high, like the max is just crazy. But I mean, you do
But
you.
can you? But I see that I see the little chart where the only differences are the RAM and the storage. But are
Mhm.
either of those upgradable on your own?
I don't believe so. No.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
continue.
yeah.
My bad.
It's a system on a chip, right? You buy it and you get what you
I
get.
see.
hmm The last thing I need in my life, Drew, is one more handheld that I like.
You say that.
Yeah, I use and I use fervently for like 3 weeks and don't touch ever again. That seems to be my I don't need to keep collecting these, even though I am really tempted. So I was kind of just like, well, yeah, I really don't need one, and then the theme of this episode is going to be things YouTube showed me. Uh,
All right. All right. I'm ready.
so then the algorithm starts showing me uh these the first thing it showed me was like, hey Paul, you know the thumbsticks you have in your ROG Ally X? They're garbage. You need Hall effect sticks.
Yeah. So everything you're experiencing here, just replace this with guns, and
Okay.
that's like what my YouTube is these days. But anyway,
It's like they're garbage. You have to get these. And then turns out iFixit is selling a pair of Hall effect replacement thumbsticks, and it looks pretty easy to replace. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I trust iFixit. They're a reputable brand. They sell good parts. I've ordered stuff from them before. The it doesn't look that hard to do. You just got to open it up and remove the thumb screws and some ribbon cables and pop them in, and it should be all good. So I ordered those, and then YouTube's like, "I got you, sucker," and started showing me more. So I don't have any of these things yet, but the second video I got, hold on, make sure I say this correctly, was a company JSaux, I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Huh.
JSAUX. They sell lots of accessories and shit. Well, they sell. Okay, so if you click on this link, just wait, Drew. Just wait. So
okay. Do you want me to click on it or no?
No, go ahead and click on it. Go ahead and click on it.
Okay. JSaux. Okay.
Okay. So.
Oh,
no, no,
Paul.
no. They sell this RGB transparent black plate for ROG Ally X. Okay. It's a translucent black plate with RGB. I did not buy it for the back case or the stupid silicone sleeves that come on it. What JSaux also includes in the box is an additional heatsink for the ROG Ally X. And I've watched videos where people have tested things before and after that heatsink, and it has a significant impact on temperatures.
Okay, time out. Time out. So I'm gonna get to the important question here in a minute, but where is the heatsink? Because I'm looking at this page and it says okay, that's a bundle. Silicone grip, spec, material dimension.
So if you scroll,
item list. There it is.
Yep. So it's a little heatsink and it has some adhesive strips and instructions on where to put it, where to put it.
So it's not part of the case.
No, it's not part of the case. It is an additional.
So you put it on and then you put the case on.
Yeah. So I don't think I am torn about putting the actual transparent back plate on it, but I am definitely going to put the heatsink on it for sure. I just have to wait till Monday till my thumbsticks actually open up. I'm going to open it up once. That also got me searching on Etsy for replacement buttons. I have not found buttons that I like yet. But I am looking, and there's another mod that I'm considering that actually allows you to replace the four-way the D-pad. So how on the Xbox Elite controllers it has the magnetic D-pad that you can take off and put on?
Yeah.
It allows you to basically put that in the ROGLX.
Okay.
So I'm also thinking about doing that. But for starters, I'm going to do the Hall effect thumbsticks. I'm going to do the heatsink, maybe the transparent case. As the more I look at it sitting on the floor, the more it's growing on me. But we'll see. I'm not a super big fan of the RGB, but I could just leave that off. So yeah, I've started the slippery slope of modding my ROG LIX in order spending money to avoid spending money on the thing I actually want.
So
Ta-da!
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about these joysticks for a second.
Mm-hmm.
They are Hall effect joysticks.
Yes.
Now, I get confused because back when I used to tinker with little miniature circuitry like Raspberry Pis and Arduino and stuff, there were Hall effect switches for, like if I wanted to do a button press in my circuit.
Mm-hmm.
But when I hear people talk about Hall effect switches for keyboards and joysticks, I feel like we're talking about different things. So what does this do for you?
So one of the things that plague console and controller owners for a long time is the dreaded stick drift. And that is because most thumbsticks basically it's basically a little sensor that is rubbing against another piece and detecting movement. And eventually that wears down or gets dirty or gets gross or fails in some way. And that causes it to think that it's constantly moving in one direction. And then your character runs around in circles and you look like an idiot. Stick drift. Hall effect uses this brand new fangled technology called magnets.
Oh.
So I think it actually is the same. But basically to detect magnetic fields, and they do not suffer from stick drift, and apparently they also last much, much longer. The downside is they are slightly more expensive, which is why companies tend not to use them. But iFixit sells basically these little boards that are the exact same size and shape of the existing boards that are in there. You just gotta untake the old ones out, plug the ribbon cable in. You basically pop the thumbsticks off of your old, the thumbsticks caps off of your old your old boards and put them on here, or you can get replacement thumbsticks, but the caps on the ROG LIX are fine. So, do I have stick drift on my ROG LIX? Nope. Thumbsticks work great. But YouTube says they're garbage. So I bought these magnets. Mm-hmm. Magnets.
Okay.
Yep.
Placement installation does not require circuit modifications or soldering.
Nope.
Interesting.
Nope.
They just kind of click into place, or probably held in by screws.
There's screws. You can see, if you look, you can see there's like 3 screw holes on each board.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's a little spot for the ribbon cable to go in. And, I've got a good pair of tweezers, so I can pop that ribbon cable in and out pretty easily. And, so I'm gonna next week I'm gonna crack her open and replace the thumbsticks.
Spudge. You got yourself a spudge.
I did have to order. iFixit sells those basically guitar picks for prying.
Spudge.
Yeah. Most of mine are broke, so I ordered another 6-pack.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's what they're designed to do.
Yeah, they're very, very, very thin. There was something I was trying to open up for band, a transmitter, and I just chewed through them. Those clips did not want to come out, so I'm replacing those. So yeah.
High thermal conductivity, aluminum alloy for enhanced heat dissipation. It's aluminum, huh? It's not copper.
It's aluminum.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
So we know each other pretty well here. You're gonna do all this, and how long do you think before you buy the Odin?
Maybe a few weeks. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So apparently, the first they shipped out the first batch. The second batch is supposed to ship out in the end of February. So even if I ordered it now, I wouldn't get it right away. But damn, that thing looks good. Oh, I mean, it's Android. What's holding me back is Android. I had the original Odin, and it was Android, and it was fine. I just Android. My brain rejects how it works.
I get it.
Uh,
I get it.
but it does look so good, and I listened to that Next Portable Console NPC podcast, and all they do is talk about handhelds, and they got their Odins, and they love them, and they're talking about it, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I could give them money and order one.
You
But
could.
I could, but so far I've held strong, so we'll see how it goes.
Hmm.
So you know what else YouTube got me excited about, Drew?
Okay.
Civilization 7.
All right. So I'm very interested in this.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about this.
Okay, so I knew they were making Civilization 7, and I've played past Civilization games. And I played them back when I used to be a PC gamer. I played them on consoles. I've even played Civ 6 on my iPad quite a bit. I played a lot of Civilization. I like that kind of turn-based 4X kind of game. And I was vaguely aware that Civilization 7 was that they were making it, but I had no idea what the features are, and when it was coming out. And then YouTube was like, hey, you want to watch a preview for Civilization 7? And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, it's only like an 8-minute preview. Sure, I'll watch it. And I watched it. I'm here to tell you, Drew, like this week I have probably watched I'm between YouTube and Twitch, I have probably watched about 6 hours of Civilization videos.
Interesting.
It is absolute. I don't know what. I don't know. So I'm usually not somebody who can watch other people play video games, but I don't. Maybe I found my kink. But I have watched because right now content creators have the game, and there are certain things they're allowed to show and certain things they're not, but they are starting to make videos of them playing, doing some Twitch streams. I watched the developers of the game. They played like a multiplayer game, and they were talking about the game while they were doing it. I have watched, in fact, I was literally watching a Civilization 7 video when you called, and I will probably finish it before I go to bed. I don't know what it is, but something it's gripped me, and I cannot wait to play Civilization 7 next week, Drew. I am so excited.
What gets you excited about it? What's the most important thing here?
Okay, so first of all, it looks okay. A Civilization, I mean, granted, it's a strategy game, but it looks amazing. Absolutely just incredible. The animations, the artwork, it looks so fucking pretty. There's quite a few things that separate this from the other civilizations, but there are, I would say there are two big primary gimmicks. So Civilization has always been this thing where you pick a leader, and that leader is associated with the civilization, and you play as that civilization. So you could be, like Cleopatra and play as the Egyptians, or Alexander the Great, or Winston Churchill, and be the awful British Empire or whatever. So they have separated leaders and civilizations, so you can pick them independently of each other, and join them. And the other kind of thing is there are 3 stages of the game. So there are basically, it goes from, I believe it's called Antiquity to Explorer to Modern. And each of those has separate win conditions. So when you hit that point, then it becomes the next era. Bonuses or things that you've achieved in each era kind of roll over. So if you're really good at military, you might get military bonuses in the next age. But basically every time you go from one age to another, you pick a different civilization. So your civilization is basically modifying as it's going through time.
Interesting.
And so it really gives this option for, and like I think even some of the developers are saying like, y'all are going to find like combos that we never even tested that just break the game, and we'll figure that out as we go.
Oh, of course.
uh, but those two kind of things together really kind of intrigued me, and made me just kind of like, yeah, I could really get into a big old meaty turn-based strategy game again. Yes, that looks terrific. Yeah.
But I gotta ask you,
Mhm.
what are you gonna play it on?
So I have played lots of Civilization on consoles. I am not afraid to do so. So I believe that is where I'm going to play it. I actually think it would be a great PlayStation Portal game. This is the first Civilization game where the console uh, the console version is being developed in-house at the same time. So it's
Uh-huh.
being designed for controllers from the get-go. All the other Civilizations were designed for PC, mouse and keyboard, and then ported to controller, usually by another company.
Interesting.
So this is the first time that they're doing it in-house at the same time. It's releasing on everything, including the Switch. So
Huh.
yeah. A worst case scenario, if I don't like it, it also will run on the Mac, so I could always go that way as well and buy the game again. But you know me,
Huh.
whatever. So I'm gonna do it. I'm actually, I think this might be a perfect PlayStation Portal game. Sit on the couch, watch some TV, do a few turns, not go to bed because I'm constantly just in that one more turn mindset, one more turn, and suddenly it's 5 a.m. and I gotta get up for work. Not that I get up at 5 a.m., but or at 5 a.m. my groceries get delivered. So yeah, I am extremely excited. Will be watching probably entirely too much of people playing Civilization on YouTube and Twitch in the near future until the game comes out and I can play it myself. I do not know why, but the people that go through and they play the game and they talk about their thought process and they look at stuff and they do it, it gets me, Drew. It gets me. I could just watch them think about and taking
But
like a
don't
10-minute turn in Civ and talking, just thinking about all that stuff. It gets me. It gets me. Ugh.
but do you do that with Diablo?
No. I really can't watch. I don't enjoy watching other people play video games. There is like one streamer that I'll watch like at the beginning of a season because he'll go through the new season mechanics and talk about stuff. So I'll watch a little bit there, but mostly I'm looking for information, not for the gameplay. But I could just watch people play Civ 7. I could be watching them right now, Drew, and I'd be completely happy. I might be. You don't know.
I mean, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Something about that game and it's not people like playing the game so much. It's about them talking about the game and strategizing and it's like whatever that particular genre of video is, my brain apparently needs it. And this is a new thing for me. I get people watching. Maybe I'm a person that watches people play video games now. But
Maybe.
man, it gripped me. And it's all YouTube's fault. The algorithm got me.
It gets you. So, last question about this then. So, day one, what do you think? What civilization leader you think you're going to roll?
I don't know. You know what? That's not true. Usually my first playthrough, I usually do like Egypt just because I think it's cool. And like you can build a pyramid and shit. But I don't know, like the idea of also like, maybe like doing the Roman Empire and just like kicking people's teeth in, that could be fun too. I don't know. We're just gonna see what draws me when I get there. They haven't even like shown all the civilization and leaders yet. So there could be one that I don't even know about.
Okay, I lied. That wasn't my last question.
Okay.
What's the last Civilization game you played?
6.
And how did you find it?
It was good. I mean, To me, I think Civ 4 is probably my favorite.
Yeah,
Four.
5 took a little while to grow on me.
Mm-hmm.
2 is still my, I mean, obviously I love the first game. It was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I played it on, an old like
Mm-hmm.
DOS Windows computer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was, I mean, that was just phenomenal. I still have a really soft place in my heart for 2. I was not a big fan of 3. I liked
No.
4 and I
Four.
liked 5.
Four was.
5 took a little while for me to grow.
I like 6 more than 5. I know a lot of people don't like 6. Uh,
I didn't enjoy 6.
yeah. Yeah, 6 grew on me. And like, I mean, 7 is different. Like, hey, workers, they don't exist anymore. Uh,
Yeah.
they're gone. You just grow your city. You pick a tile. You get the benefits. Boom, you're good. So, but it I don't know. It looks they've another big thing is they've kind of simplified like diplomacy. Now there is an additional currency in addition to like culture and science and money called influence. And basically you spend influence to get what you want out of diplomatic situations. So if you want like a trade agreement, you build up your influence, you go and you say, 50 influence points, trade with me. And they go, yes. So, and there's like lots of different win conditions. And like, as I was talking about those ages, like, so each of the ages has goals for like what military, culture, science, and another one that I can't remember. God damn it. But like each of those are kind of steps. So you have like little intermediate, if you want to, achieve like a military victory, there's like 7 little steps you have to go through and achieve these little like mini objectives. And then as you do that, you unlock new abilities and bonuses and stuff until you get all the way to the end. Yeah, like there's your typical like launch a rocket, you win the game. There's one that's the military is all based around like the Manhattan Project and showing your nuclear dominance to the world, and yeah,
Yeah,
it looks fun. Yeah,
cool.
Comes out next week.
All right, next week.
Well, if you pre-order the deluxe or founders edition, you can play it on the 6th. Otherwise, you have to wait till the 11th.
That was gonna be my last question. Which one are you buying?
What do you think, Drew?
Well, I mean, on Steam, it looks like you can do the deluxe edition and get access, or you can get founders.
I just did the founders edition. You get
what does that give you?
You get some additional. They call them personas for leaders. Basically, it's the same leader but a slightly different set of bonuses, some cosmetics, and you get access to all the DLC they have planned for the first year of rollout. So
got it. Okay. Well, okay. Not bad. Before I forget, I meant to bring this up also at the start of the show as follow-up. I know that I didn't necessarily consider this a life-changing thing, but a friend of the show, Mandy, would like me to convey to you that she found the Miami Vice channel on Amazon.
Yes.
And she also thinks that it is life-changing.
Yeah, her life is improved slightly. Yes, I get it.
Okay. All right, a couple other quick little updates for me. We talked about skincare last episode.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I done burnt my face off.
Oh shit, Drew. Oh yeah, shit.
This stuff's no joke. So what happened was
did you use too much?
No. So these 2 creams that they gave me, there's an AM and a PM, and the AM one basically makes my face smell like tomato salad. I mean, that's what it smells like. I have key memories of my grandfather preparing tomatoes with like vinegar and oil and all diced up, and it was like he would put it on like bruschetta and it was like really, really good. And I don't know, that's what it smells like to me. But what these creams are designed to do is it's designed to dry your face out. So because I'm an oily, gross man full of filth, these creams basically dry my skin around my nose and my face so I don't appear so greasy and like glossy. And it absolutely does that. But because I don't have that thin layer of viscosity protecting itself, that makes my skin very dry and irritable. So the regimen is I use a little bit of like soap and water to like sort of like lightly scrub my face before bed or, in the morning. I rinse with warm water, and then I will very cautiously pat my face dry. And what I was noticing over the past few days is that like parts of my forehead and parts of like the areas around the bridge of my nose and below my nose were really red and like basically chapped because they're just dry and irritated. So, and they told me that this could happen, right? Because it's fundamentally changing the composition of like what's happening on my face. And I've had some peeling and it's been dry, but again, it hasn't been like terrible. And they said that, hey, if it starts to get too bad, is like after you apply the medicine to your face, you can take a little bit of like moisturizer or sunscreen and sort of massage that in, and then that'll help it from drying out too much, and and it won't irritate your face as much. So last night I was getting ready for bed and I applied, I washed my face and I applied the creams as I normally do. And I was noticing that it was like really red. Like it was like a little bit painful. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use some lotion. And we have like some face cream and some other lotion that we have in the bathroom. So I put a little bit of that on my hands and I started rubbing that in, and I got a little too close to my eyes.
Uh-oh.
Now it didn't go in my eyes, but like there, I don't know, like my face is fat, right? And for me, like if you look at me close up, like there's, like when people say they have crow's feet.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had a black eye, like there's just that one strip between like your eyelid and the bridge of your nose that's like skin.
Yes, yeah, skin.
That's so that's a relatively fleshy part of your face, right?
It is, yes.
I mean, like if you were to take your finger from like the bridge of your nose and start to like trace your finger over to that side, you would feel that there's like obviously the bridge of your nose, which is bone, and then like you will get to a very squishy part that is like right under your eye.
Yeah.
So
squishy.
I was like applying the medicine, and I got like medicine on that part. And I guess like I had never put the medicine there before. And about an hour later, my face hurt. Like it hurt so bad. So like I ended up getting like a cold compress and like putting it on there, and it was so painful. And it was to the point where it was like, it wasn't in my eye, but it just felt like that whole part of my face hurt. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take out my contacts and I'm going to like just keep this compress on my face and try to get the irritation to go down. I was so fucked up that I took my contact case out, rinsed it, filled it up with saline solution, and then took my contacts out and like completely missed putting the contacts in the solution. So I woke up this morning and I opened the contact case and I'm like, wear contacts, and they were on the sink all dried out, and I'm like, how the fuck did I even do that? So this is just an update to say that this is still a learning experience. I am not noticing, I mean, other than the fact that I am not as oily on my face, so it's doing what it needs to do. It hasn't cleared up some of the blemishes or some of the other things on my skin, and like it literally looks like I have two black eyes that are healing, because where that skin got so irritated and dried out, it's like super red right now. So I have like this weird cross of like maybe punched in the face / car accident / hasn't slept in a week kind of look going on. And people were commenting on Zoom today, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn my camera off the rest of the time. Like, you're like, what did you do, Drew? Yeah. Is everything all right? Yeah, so this stuff's no joke, is what I'm here to say.
Okay.
Last topic of the night. If you are a European listener, I will be in Europe this summer.
Nice.
Yep. We've been wanting to do a Europe trip together as a couple for many, many years now. And look, with the last few years of Rocky, it was hard to travel. We didn't want to board him anywhere because, of his health problems and the fact that he was blind. And, and I didn't. It's not that I didn't trust anybody to house sit and watch him, but I just felt bad leaving him. And if I would go on a work trip, I would want to make sure Mandy was here, and if Mandy was going on a trip, then I would want to be here, and it just made it hard for us to vacation together. And I've always wanted to take her to Europe. I've been to Europe. I've been to Scandinavia, so we're gonna be over in Europe this summer. I won't give exact dates or anything because don't be creepy.
Right.
But we're gonna do 2 nights in Spain, 2 nights in Paris, or three nights in Paris, and then 2 nights in London. So if you're a European listener and you're gonna be in any of those places this summer and you want to say hello, like there's so few of you worldwide that it's not weird. We could definitely meet up and get a drink or do whatever. So
Cool.
yeah, we're pretty juiced. It's gonna be pretty fun.
Sounds like fun. Gonna ride in some trains?
I'm gonna ride on some trains, bud. So honestly,
Is that the big reason why you're going, is to ride on trains?
I that's how I prefer to travel around Europe. Now, look, taking a train between Paris and London is no big deal. That's like less than 2 hours. It's nothing.
Okay.
It's nothing. It's like, I've taken car rides longer than that, right? It's fast, it's efficient, and it's pretty fucking cheap. Like, I think both of our tickets combined for first class were less than $200
Whoa.
on the Eurostar, which is
Okay.
pretty good. Maybe because we booked so far in advance. I don't know, but it was very cheap. Now, the tickets from Barcelona to Paris were more expensive. Now, that's like a 6-hour ride, and we're traveling, I think, in first class for that as well, because we want to be a little more comfortable for that. And depending on how you book your tickets, which, again, booking tickets on European rail systems, because every nationality has their own rail system, and you have to sort of factor in what two countries you're traveling between versus which carrier you should pick. And do you book directly through them or do you use a broker? Like, there's a whole, don't even get me started. But we're going to have a nice little trip there. I don't mind it. And, Mandy asked the question. She's like, well, why wouldn't we just fly from Barcelona to Paris? And I'm like, well, it's like a 2-hour flight.
Because train.
Because train,
Yeah.
like, it's a high-speed train. And yeah, that's part of the reason we're also doing 3 nights in Paris, is because, our train leaves in the morning, but we won't get there till the late afternoon. So it's just a much, it's a much nicer way to travel. Plus, we'll be in the city center of Paris when we get there. So it's
Yeah,
going to be
true.
easier to get to our hotel and stuff. And, it's nice, and I think it'll be a nice little trip. So yeah, the trains are obviously a highlight for me. I like that very much. But yeah, we're going to be staying at some pretty nice places. Like, this is a little bit of a splurge, I won't lie. Not that going to Europe is cheap by any stretch when you don't do that, but we're going to fly with upgraded tickets. We're going to stay in nicer hotels. So this has been something we've been planning for a few years. So we're really looking forward to that.
Cool. I hope you guys have a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
What about you guys? You got any trips coming up?
No. No. I think this summer is primarily just going to be getting Zachary ready for college. So.
Oh yeah. Remind me, did he get accepted to? He got accepted to Ohio, right?
He's going to Ohio University.
Ohio University, yes.
That is where he is going. In fact, they have tomorrow. Him and my wife are driving down there. They have a kind of like pre-orientation / campus tours for students who are committed to OU. So that's what he's going to spend tomorrow doing, is going, and he gets to actually eat in the their dining hall if he so chooses. So yeah. So that's
very
exciting.
cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing with all that?
I'm good. Like, all things considered, like, it's a good, I think it's gonna be a good school for him. There are some people there that he knows, but not too many. It's an hour and a half away, so he gets to get some freedom. But it's not impossible.
Close
to go
enough.
See him, but close enough if he needs something or if he wants to come home or come back, because a lot of the kids in college come back and like do stuff with the high school band or visit and that kind of stuff. So it's not like he's like a million miles away. And honestly, it's like OU it's still expensive, but compared to a lot of colleges, it's extremely affordable. So, yeah, I think all things considered, I'm pretty happy. I mean, it could be a lot worse. So, yeah, I mean, it's still going to suck him not being here. It's going to be different, and that transition, and we'll have to figure out all that stuff, and but yeah, I think it's going to be good. Yeah.
Awesome,
My
man.
little boy's leaving the house.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be something, man.
Yeah. But it's nice. He's it's you remember like going to college and like leaving and like being on your own and realizing just how much you don't know. But like college is also like a safe space and safe-ish. Uh, and yeah, and like we have like friends from the band who also have students in the OU band, so we can go down and see some football games, and we'll have that to in common now as well. So yeah, and plus I get to buy like OU stuff, so I like to buy things.
Yeah, now you get the OU dad shirt and the OU dad bumper plate holder,
all that stuff. Yeah.
World's best OU dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Mugs.
Exactly. Is that all that?
All right, brother.
I think we did it.
I think that's a show.
Yeah. Doingtheirbest.com. You can go there, find all the show notes, all the links, email, whatever you need. And hey, thanks for listening.